Okay, what about fasting? So something I noticed when I first started fasting was that you called it something photoessence.
Yeah,
It was
autofluorescence. Yeah,
autofluorescence. Okay,
yeah,
when I fast, I swear my skin gets a more orangey tinge to it. It looks healthier. It's just
hmm
not in a bad way. It just has more color. And I used to, in my clinic, I could literally tell when somebody would walk in the door. I would look at them and say, "What? How long of a fast are you on right now?" Because there was a shift that happened in their skin that made their skin glow. Is
yeah.
it have to do with that change in I mean, what is going on in the skin basically when you
So,
fast?
well, first of all, before I answer the fasting question, I would say probably some of it is due to the fact that you're still drinking water and you're
Ah,
intaking, plenty of sodium, which
probably.
allows, for water retention. So that's part of it, and that should be a part of it. I mean, that's great. As far as like, again, having, being in a fasted state, we're getting into one of the key players in skin health, which is autophagy, which is
Yes.
the ability
My
to
favorite word. My favorite word.
well, autophagy. So a lot of the times I talked about those verticals, which are called like the hallmarks of aging, but a lot of the times we're thinking of them as completely separate divisions. But it's not really the case, because what we're seeing is that autophagy, for example, is a vertical, is a name for a type of aging process that is happening, that is affecting 75% of the other verticals.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
it affects, for example, senescent cells, or it affects, for
yeah.
example, protein misfolding, which is what I referred to, by the way, before when I said about the heat shock proteins, or it affects intercellular communication, nutrient sensing. It affects a lot of the same things that we've given other names. And by doing that, it is a master regulator of aging. If we want to
Hmm.
master regulate our age, we normally don't want to do it, or if we zoom out and we want to have something that affects our whole body, we normally don't want to talk necessarily about a hormone that we need to take, a peptide that we need to inject or apply, or whatever. We want to look at processes that are kind of like mild stress to the whole system, like
Hmm.
temperature, like, nutrient deficiency. So these things, as long as they're controlled, they actually do magic, because they don't only interact with one system, they interact with multiple systems.
Hmm. So if I decide, I mean, the thing about skincare that also is challenging is it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So if I decide, hey, I'm going to really invest in a high quality skin care product, what I'm hearing is if you want to amplify the benefits of that, is stimulate autophagy on a semi regular basis. It's the driver of all the other skin enhancements that you're looking for.
I would say yes. And what you're saying is an extremely advanced way of looking at skincare that very few people are talking about. I would say the only person that ever raised that, aside from you, is Dr. Amy Killen.
Hmm.
And that is so, what we want to do is to have basically a push period, and which means an anabolic period, which means period where I nourish. Remember that hyperoxic hypoxic paradox. So in
Yep.
a time where I actually kind of nourish the skin the most that I can, and kind of push it to do the most. Use those stimulations like microneedling, like retinoids. Like, we can talk about those, but really stimulate repair. Ask for repair. And other times it's like, let's say we're now in a holiday season in Young Goose, right? So we have, thousands of orders that are coming in. The problem is that creates a lot of waste. You can imagine how much like
Hmm.
ends of this is there. And if we
Yeah.
would have never cleaned our production
Mm.
facility or our shipment facility, no one will be able to move, right? So there has to be
Right.
periods where we're producing, and we're giving everything that the production needs, all the raw ingredients, whatever that is. Really, you can think of my factory as an example for that.
Yeah, it's a great analogy.
And then there has to be times where we're cleaning up, and both kind of feed off each other, right? There won't be anything to
Yeah.
clean if we didn't have work, and vice versa. The same way when we're talking about the skin. This is, by the way, one of the most fundamental processes that cells have evolved to from the literal beginning of time. That interaction between a push period and a repair period or recovery period is literally in every cell in the
Yes.
galaxy.
Yep. It's the fundamental principle of fasting, which is dip into a semi-stress state, heal your body, then go back and nourish it. And I love what you're saying is we got to look at everything like that.